How you going? It's Khoa here, and in this podcast, I am honored to introduce you to a man named Mike Chang. Mike Chang, he is the founder of the awesome six-pack shortcuts. So if you remember back in 2000 and maybe 2010-ish, or it was quite a while ago. It was just over 10 years ago. Mike Chang was the OG of YouTube. This was way before Gary Vee and when social media took off. I think it was even before Instagram, but there was only very few people that was influencing YouTube, and Mike Chang was one of the pioneers. I don't know whether you remember his ads, but he posed himself. He was shirtless and he had six-pack abs, and he was selling his six-pack abs, six-pack shortcut system. And he was the original guy, and he became incredibly successful in founding the company and also selling his program. He made over 8 figures in his business, and he grew his company. It was huge. It was absolutely incredible, and it actually changed my life as well. I bought the program, I applied it. I was overweight. I went through the program, and I actually did get my abs. So that being said, he went through quite a lot. However, after about 8 years, he sold the business, and then he went on a different type of journey where I wouldn't say he found enlightenment, I guess, or he went on a spiritual journey, and he was able to discover some really incredible insights into the mindset, into spirituality, and also how energy affects your thoughts and your whole body as well. So we spoke for about an hour and 40 minutes in this podcast, and this was a very, very in-depth type of podcast because we covered a lot about the initial. I've got my list of questions here, but the initial questions that was asked was mostly all about business and so forth. But then we went straight into the spiritual stuff, and that's what I love, because this part of Mike Chang is more of, this is the spiritual part of Mike Chang, where he's giving himself authentically to you. He's sharing he's sharing his soul with you, and he's being really authentic. And I was very fortunate to capture him at a time where he is slowly introducing himself back to the world, because he actually went quiet for a few years, and he didn't go on social media. He wasn't on YouTube or anything like that. So I'm really excited to share with you this particular podcast about Mike Chang, and this is packed with gold. You're going to learn so much from it, and I really want you to try and apply some of the techniques that he shares with you in this podcast. So without further ado, I bring you Mike Chang. Thanks.
Hey, there he is. Looking good, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. You too.
Yeah, you're always looking good. You haven't aged a bit. Went off the grid for a couple of years and you're still looking good, man.
Thanks, man.
So you're in Bali?
Yeah. Maybe I'm not able to change the audio here. How are you hearing me?
Yeah, man. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, we'll just roll with it then.
Yeah, all good. Already started the recording, so
good.
Yeah. Looking good, looking good. The Mike Chang is here. He's in the house. Wow.
Man, I feel like I'm getting younger, man.
Yeah.
I look at some of my old pictures and videos. Yeah, I know I feel younger for sure.
Yeah.
I feel more and more like a big kid. I do stuff that's like just so silly. Sometimes I don't care.
You got this aura, like this different type of aura, man. You're like, I remember because I've been following you for years, and I remember the first clips that you were doing. It was it was very intense with the whole workout, but now it's more spiritual. I can see it, I can feel it, So
yeah,
I can't wait to get into the whole spiritual awakening stuff. And yeah, I know that's
man.
Yeah.
Ask away. I'm an open book, man. People ask me like, is it okay if I ask? Dude, you can ask me anything.
Awesome, man. Cool. All right, man. Yeah. So we really appreciate your time for booking your time today. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say that I'm really honored to interview you. Been following you for years, man. I remember when, you know, I was overweight and, you know, I was about 90 kilos and I saw one of your YouTube videos pop up and I gave you a shot. And yeah, I did the whole thing. I did the whole phase 1, phase 2, up to phase 4, watched the videos. And yeah, I did, you know, I was even in the gym. I was in the gym before this and I was doing like phase 1, phase 4, you know, day 1 workouts as well. It's on my phone. And yeah, and I got back abs after when I did it as well. So it was great, you know, I really appreciate it. So lots of thank
Awesome,
you.
man.
Yeah. And I can't believe it. It's just like law of attraction, you know. I think about how you're doing the workouts and, you know, now I finally get to interview you. So yeah.
I'm so happy to be able to connect with you like this, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's incredible. So but I know that it's really interesting. I've got you at a time where you're transitioning, right? So there's a part of you that you had the 6-pack shortcuts. You blew up on YouTube and you're before, you know, you're like before the whole Gary V, you're bigger than everyone, man. And then after that you transitioned over to the spiritual stuff. So before we get into that, for those who don't know, how did you get started with the 6-pack shortcut stuff?
Man, we started off with no money. It was just like an intention. I remember Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, cool.
Right, Robert Kiyosaki. And it's like, oh, right, of course, makes sense. You know, you got to leverage. You can't keep trading time for money. So it's like, okay, right, that makes total sense. Okay, cool. Yeah. So let me stop looking for this constant individual sales and find a way to leverage my time. And I was like, man, how old was I when I first started reading that? I think I was like 21 or 22. Yep. And so it's like, okay, so I always looked for that model, and I loved business. I love that model, and I love to exercise. I love to train and help people. And so for the longest time, you know, I would do some training as like working in the gyms and selling memberships, doing some training and train people in person. Yep. And then I would just work. And then we're reading 4-Hour Workweek with Tim Ferriss, you know, gave me the idea. It's like, okay, it's all about leveraging, but now we're taking it to the internet. Yeah. So fast forward that 3 years of studying like online marketing, studying affiliate marketing, starting to understand some of the terms and just realizing, holy crap, man, trying to start this versus now I understand it, but starting it is just like way beyond me. Yeah. So I was lucky enough to meet my partner, Dan Rose, and me and him started doing it from the ground up, you know, no money, no investors. He leveraged his credit cards of like $8,000, you know, and it wasn't even like $8,000 dropped. It was just like, all right, let's just spend a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. I put in no money because I had no money. All I had was just enough money to survive. I quit my job. Like I was crushing it at LA Fitness. And I was one of the top TGMs, what they call it, as a training general manager. I just won this contest. I came in number 2 in the nation. Okay. And from there, of like selling training packages and all this stuff. And I remember like being at the dinner with all the top heads of the company and stuff at this nice steakhouse. Yeah. And they were like telling me like, Mike, you know, the one thing about all employees is that they're one day going to leave you, which is why you got to keep hiring. And as he was telling me that, I was already planning to leave. Like 2 weeks from then, I was going to be out. Okay. It wasn't expected. Why would this guy leave? He just freaking won this big contest. He just got a big old check. I think my bonus was like $12,000, you know? Yeah. And it's like, why would you leave when you're on the top? That's just nuts. Yeah. And I remember thinking, man, he's absolutely right because I'm about to leave. Yeah. And so then I leave everything behind. I was living in Houston, Texas, and I left everything behind. I mean, like the story is that, like, when I think about what I risked, it's like for some people, it's like kind of crazy, you know? Yeah. Because I had all this debt. I was like 50,000 in credit card debt. I was like 300, 350 in mortgage debt. Wow. And I let it all go straight up. Freaking foreclosure, you know, everything. Yeah. I let my credit fall to shit. And the thing is, like, somebody might be like, well, Mike, that wasn't smart. Well, you know, sometimes it's not about doing things right. Sometimes it's just about freaking pursuing what you want and knowing what is the cost of doing so. And if you're willing to pay the cost, pay the piper, whatever it is, you know, there's no right or wrong. If someone's not willing to do it, don't do it. But for me, it's like, I saw it as a really simple thing. I had an opportunity to go and really blow this up because I had somebody that knew he was doing at least more than me. Yeah. And if it works out, it could be really, really awesome. Yeah. But if it doesn't work out, like what do I got to lose? Yeah. My credit will be shot. cool. You know, I won't have any money. Okay, cool. And I'll probably end up on somebody's couch. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What do I got to do to get back on my feet? You know, if you get a new job, you'll know that within 3 weeks you'll get one paycheck, and then that paycheck you can put into a deposit. I get my own place, and before I know it, I'm back on my feet again. I can walk into any place and get a job anywhere, not making a killing, just enough to rent a little rink-a-dink 1-bedroom apartment and just kind of start up again.
Yeah,
you know?
that's good
So
thinking.
I'm like, I'm not gonna die. So right. So what's the risk? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so I just went for it, and from there we just worked our ass off. You know, there was no special techniques. There wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
Just literally working hard. We were working 100 miles an hour. We were like the fast lane. Talk about like our mentality, our culture was simply, if we're not better than you, we're just gonna outwork you.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, that's the way we saw it. We saw people. We're like, okay, this company is doing this amount of money. Like at the time when we were starting YouTube, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have any subscribers, and we're like, all right, who's the top dog in fitness? And at the time it was Body Rock TV, Susanna.
Oh yeah,
hot ass
right.
chick.
Yeah, I remember her.
Super rich. Remember her?
Yeah.
So
I think
legit. She's got that
man.
sexy accent.
I was following her on
workout
Instagram. Yeah. The video when she was doing the death workout or something, when she's on the backyard and she's like, oh man, close ups on her abs and stuff. I was like, wow. Yeah, I remember her.
You're like, how you gonna compete with her? You know, she's legit. She looks good. She sounds sexy. Her thumbnails are like the bomb. You can't. I don't care how ripped I look, man. You can't get better than that. So I'm like, okay, well, that's the YouTube channel that we're gonna chase. You know, because they're the top dogs right now at 500,000. You know, it's like, okay, cool.
Okay.
And so that was like the goal, and we wanted to be the best. And so we started making workout videos, and eventually, remember one day we looked on the subscribers and realized that we had more subscribers than she did. We're like, whoa, we're the biggest channel now. Oh shit. Okay, cool. All right, well, good. Well, just keep striving. What else are we gonna chase? You know? And so we were just like that. We were just looking for a target, looking for a goal. We had this thing in mind that we wanted to be the best. Doesn't matter. We want to be the best. At first, it was all right. Let's be the biggest YouTube channels for subscribers. Okay, cool. And then once we didn't care about that anymore, we were in the lead for a while. We're like, okay, what do we want to do? We want to go ahead and be the best fitness company. Period. Okay, what do we need to do? Well, how do we want to gauge that? There's a lot of ways to gauge it, right? So we were looking at it as revenue, money. Why? I grew up in like Houston, man. We're freaking in the hood and stuff. You ain't got no money. You know, I used to steal like crazy because I don't got an allowance. People are like, they're like, you have an allowance? I don't have my own bedroom. I don't got an allowance, you know? So there was always this scarcity for money, financial security, as a lot of people, you know, a lot of people live that way. I lived in the same fear, man. So it was all about money. So it's like, okay, cool. Now, that doesn't mean we didn't care about helping people. But when you're setting goals, it's like, all right, well, we're going to hit this revenue. I mean, we're going to do it in the most integral way and do it helping the most amount of people. But that was the thing. And so we saw Beachbody, you know, as the top dog. You know, they're at about 500 million at the time, I remember. And we were at like about 11 or 12. So we're like, okay, cool. So 500 from 11 million is like a landslide. So I remember we started calculating. I came up with plans. I was like, all right, here's how we're going to go ahead and get to 50 million. Here's how we can get to 100 million. And then we're going to get to 200 million this way. You know, it's like, okay, cool. It sounds like, all right, so we need a bigger office. We need to hire more people. We need to go and do this. Get the game plan, execute time.
Yeah.
And so that was just the way we ran the business. We didn't have advisors or anything. It was just simply like logic.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy because now I talk to people like, well, like bring in the strategist.
And the strategist is like, you know, like, did you bring a coach and mentors and stuff like that? And, you know, formal business plan.
Nothing.
Wow. That's incredible.
Nothing, you know, and we just did our best. And now over time, the people we hired, their caliber and experience started increasing.
Yeah.
But we never approached it as like, you know, we did our best to try to come up with our own strategies. We talked to people, but we focused all of our effort on taking action, all of our efforts of producing results.
Yeah.
Now looking back, you know, if people are listening to this, they're like, all right, so is this the best approach? In my opinion, no, it's not the best approach. Why? Because there are a lot of people that we can learn from. There's a lot of people that can help us make less mistakes, you know, just less, not none, right?
Okay.
But sometimes though, when people are needing to move forward and they feel like they can't because they don't have the plan, they don't have the right thing to do. Like they're like, you know, I want to do, I'm still ready, I just need to have this thing, I just need to have that thing. And so they just kind of stay there running around this little circle, so ready to like just go past the starting line. And the thing is, like, when we get past the starting line, we start to go, even if we don't have a plan, even if we don't know what the heck we're doing, every single action is going to create some type of results. We're always going to learn something. And so looking back, I think the combination is really both ways. It's taking relentless action, but at the same time, like, you know, learning from people who's done it. And then now you get the combination, you know, it's the best. But if somebody they don't have the capacity, or they're not able to learn from the people that have done it, I would still say, then just keep taking action. You'll still end up figuring it out. It may be longer, but it's all good, you know?
Yeah. Man, that's incredible. So you were just looking at the thing that was in front of you first and just taking relentless action, just trying to get it done, and then just tweaking the results there, right? And like you said with the videos, you weren't even thinking about like subscribers or anything. You were just pumping out great video. You were just focusing on getting out video, right? How many videos were you doing?
Yeah, just tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So, you know, like we were doing I think about two or three videos on YouTube for Six Pack Shortcuts channel. On top of that, I was filming probably an average of maybe 2 commercials a week. And about 2 commercials a week on average. So usually what it'll be is like, maybe this week I don't film any commercials, and I filmed like 2 or 3 YouTube videos. And then next week I don't film any YouTube videos, and I knock out like 5 commercials, 7 commercials back to back in this tiny little room, foamed up, you know, standing on a teleprompter, going to town, sweating, and so it's just kind of like off and on. Then the next week I'm running around town doing crazy shit because we need all the shots to to put into a different style of video. So it was just like that. You know?
Yeah, you used to I think before the videos you had a blog, right? You were doing a lot of writing first, and you were just uploading pictures, right? And then after doing videos,
nah,
you weren't doing that, or you just went straight for video, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
that's incredible.
I'm not much of a writer, you know. All of my texting, if you see me, I'll be like text to speech like crazy, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What about because in the Six Pack Shortcuts program, there's one how you're showing, you know, you're just working out in the gym, right? Is that in your room or something? Is that in your house? The one where you were Dan Rose and you were just like, you know.
That was in the house.
That was in the house.
One of the rooms, we turned it into like this little gym. You remember the squeaky floors?
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, man. We had the pads and like the little squeaky like foams, you know, for weights and stuff. But I didn't realize it was gonna squeak. But it's too late, you know. Once we put everything in, it was time to film. So, but plus that, they were cheap. I couldn't even afford the legit stuff, you know.
Yeah. That was really good. And I remember, I think there was one video of you where you were just, it must have been the very first video, but like, you looked so serious when you were talking on the camera. Like you were really serious about, promoting Six Pack Shortcuts or something. But then afterwards, all the videos afterwards, you were like really like yourself. You were very authentic, and, you know, it was really good. It was just really amazing to see your journey. And it's just like to see you doing all that stuff. Like, you inspired so many people. There was millions of people that you helped. It's incredible. So, well done.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now the part that is also interesting is that you also finished up with SPS as well. So you disappeared from YouTube and social media. So what happened there? There's that part of the life that you, I think you sold the business or something happened that stopped it all.
Well, so I sold the business. I didn't want to sell because that was like my baby, man. You know, I just told you about what I did to leave Houston and go to Austin. I left everything, you know, like I put everything on the line for just like one opportunity to make it work. You know, like Eminem's song, you know, you got one shot. You know? I mean, that was like the jam. That was my life, you know.
Yeah.
And so the last thing I'm gonna do, because looking back, like I created in my mind, like the perfect dream job in a dream life.
Yeah.
Like when you walk into the office, man, it's like Wolf of Wall Street meets Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
Straight up, you know,
Wow.
meets like Boiler Room. I mean, it's like nuts. You got all these dudes walking around shirtless on the phones, you know, talking smack, selling deals, putting down monsters. Go hit the club later on that week, popping bottles, get drunk and have fun. And this is like people that you see every day. You know, there's bars everywhere. You throw footballs, you know, you just talk shit and you have fun. You have food, you have everything.
Wow.
You have all these chicks that come in. They're all fitness chicks and sports bras. And so it's like, you're just like, damn, man, this is, and you're making good money. And just, I got my dog running around. So it's like, I got a gym right there. It was like the perfect life. So when I read comments and people are like, oh yeah, you know, he decided just to sell out because he was making millions and he just wanted to go take a vacation somewhere. Nah, man.
Yeah, I knew that there's a reason for that. Yeah, something else. It's not just the money.
Like,
yeah.
Nah.
If you watch
that,
your
dude.
stuff, if you watch your stuff, like if you go through all the material, like I know that Mike's not like that. You know, there's something else to it. There's a higher order to this one. You know, so yeah.
You know, the reason why I left is because I had to find out what happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, like people nowadays, they work, they pursue all this stuff, but they pursue it because they think it's going to make them happy. But they don't pursue happiness. They pursue financial security because financial security equates to happiness, right?
Yeah.
They pursue getting this right partner. You know, if it's a woman listening, finding the right man, you know. Why? Because the right man equates to happiness, right? They pursue, I'm going to live in this tropical paradise, or I'm going to go ahead and start doing this because this is my passion, and this doing my passion equates to happiness. Well, you know what? Fucking bullshit is what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't equate to happiness. But I didn't find out. Like if somebody tells me that, I'll be like, what do you mean? You know, here's all the reasons, and you can read all of the internet. It's all about finding this, doing this, pursuing your dreams, accomplishing. So I would have never believed anybody that told me otherwise.
Yeah.
I experienced it for myself. When I experienced this level of happiness that blew everything away that I've ever known, that I've ever experienced. Like I didn't know what was happening besides the fact that I was so happy that nothing mattered. You know, and then it became clear, like, holy shit, why am I doing all of these things in my life? You know, like for what? Like really what I want is I want to feel good. I want to be happy, but I connected all of those things to happiness. But here I am experiencing the happiness that I never even knew existed. I didn't know I can literally physically feel like that high, that good, you know? And so as I shared this on a video on my channel, you know, why I left Six Pack Shortcuts channel, you know, and there's like all of these comments. There's all these comments like, oh, if you do DMT, hey, that sounds like DMT. That sounds like mushrooms. That sounds like this. You know what? I did do mushrooms and MDMA.
Okay.
First time combined, hippie flipping. So automatically people go, that's it. But here's the thing. I wished that was it. Because if that was it, you know what? You're talking about happiness in this freaking pill, then shit, man. I'm going to give that shit out like candy. And there you go. Everybody's problems are solved. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way because there are so many people out there that not only have access, but have tried it tons of times and constantly is taking it because they want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy, no matter if they realize they're top awareness or not, but they want to, but it ain't working. Like they feel good and then afterwards they go back to normal, you know? And so therefore that's not the key. It's just like it's like somebody taking a pre-workout and it gets them so amped. So they go into the gym and they work out. So they go, this is what it takes. No, that helps you with doing something else, but that is not the key. This protein powder is not the key. You know, this vitamin, this supplement. That's the thing. Is like these substances is not the key to happiness. And anybody who thinks it is, all they're doing is they're getting high, but they're not being high. The point is to be high, but it's not to get high. And so February 2nd of 2015, I experienced this. And after that, it changed my entire life, because I realized that why would I constantly go ahead and do all these things when what I really want in my entire life is to continuously feel that experience that I was feeling. And I had that state of being, that heightened happiness, for over 2 weeks.
Wow.
And you'll never read about anybody being on mushrooms or DMT or ayahuasca or pagoda or freaking on and on, peyote. There's a list of psychedelics, LSD, you just name it.
Yeah.
Nobody takes it and then they just stay that way.
Yeah.
Unless they're microdosing. And I wasn't microdosing. I took it once and it stayed that way.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the substance that allowed me to stay that way. I was able to mine into my head. I was able to literally, I was like, I'm mining into my mind right now. It's like, imagine our brain, if we imagine our life being like bubbles, you know, like all in the air, and you're able to see events and see how everything connects, your thoughts, your preferences, and everything there. I was able to see all of it. And I was able to go and find out what was the motivation behind all of it. What was the reason? The stories that I'm telling myself, are they real? You know, my preferences, is that legit? I really like this thing. Why do I like it? You know, it's like someone going, man, I really want to get a great body. Why? Well, because, you know, it's, I saw Mike Chang on these videos and it really inspired me. Okay, but why do you want to have a great body? Well, because I want to look that way. Why? Because it makes me feel good. Why? You keep diving in why, and eventually there becomes a root cause, a root intention, a root motivation, you know? And when I found out that my root intention and motivation for so many things in my life was all to go ahead and make myself feel better and feel more worthy and feel like I'm of higher value, that I'm enough, you know? And it was all about proving, all about putting up this front. If people just need to like me, or people need to see me a certain way, all of it was just about that. And when I realized that that was my motivation, I was like, wow, there's no reason for it, because I was able to see through it and realize that the reason why I even felt less was just because of stories. It was like a story that I made up. Hey, this is the way I grew up. This is the way people treated me. So because of that, this is what I got to do. Okay, now that the story is ingrained and I believe it, now I use it for everything, you know? And when I looked at it and realized that it was totally made up, 100% made up, it was just one perspective of me as a kid, seeing my life going, this is the way people treated me, and now I'm going to go ahead and do it better now. I'm going to show them. And then everything in my life was a result of that. It was a motivation driven from that. And when I realized, actually, that's not true. No, let me rephrase that. It's one perspective of a truth. You see, all things are true, but what determines the difference is our perspective, right? It's the whole glass is half empty, half full. Which one is true? They're both true. You know, this person is ugly. This person is hot as hell. Which one's true? They're both true, based on the eye of the beholder, right? It's based on preference. And so when I realized that, all I was doing was looking at my life through this one perspective that basically equated to me being less, feeling less, being inferior, you know, and that I didn't need to look at it like that. And I need to look at it in a different way. I was like, whoa, it allowed me to let go of all of the fears, all of the worries and everything. And then I experienced all of this surge in energy running through my entire body. My body was like so light. I was like practically floating. I was so close to freaking coming off the ground. I was so light, and I didn't know what the heck was happening. Everybody else in this event was on the same shit as me. Ain't nobody floating around. Nobody's walking around. I have life in my head right now, and I'm so happy. I don't even know what's going on. Like, this wasn't happening. I had a bad lower back injury that healed within 6 hours, and I couldn't heal it for 9 months. And like, I know how to heal everything in my body. You know, doesn't matter. I've ripped muscles. I blew out my back over 20 times, like easy, all the time. It's no big deal. Just heal it. It's like a paper cut. You don't go to a doctor. You already know what you need to do. You get a cold. You don't freak out. You already know what you need to do. When I injure my body, it's like that. I already know what I need to do. You know, this one couldn't heal. And I didn't know why. And that healed in 6 hours. When all of this was happening, I was able to let go of all of this perspective and change the way I saw everything. I was able to let go of fear because I had so much worries and stress. When all of that stuff started leaving, simultaneously, my back started feeling stronger. I couldn't stand, sit, or lay down without pain. It was so bad. And, you know, I make workout videos for a living, you know? And so I remember I had to lift a 20-pound dumbbell. I had to put it against my leg and walk like that when I take it off the rack. Because if I was to lift it just in front like that, I'd blow out my back. That's how bad my back was. And I was suffering this for 9 months. And I didn't tell people publicly on YouTube. At that time, I didn't share openly. It was only about, I'm going to share whatever information is going to help somebody get in shape. It's always that. It wasn't like, let me tell you about my life. That's why for the longest time, nobody knew anything about me because I didn't care to share. It's like, I'm not here to go and tell you about, you know, what I eat and what I do. And I'm not a vlogger. I'm just. And so here I am, I'm in pain, but I'm still doing exercise workouts, but I am totally leveraging everything and making sure the moves I can do, I'm not getting injured. So all this was happening and it healed on the spot. And I remember, like, I'm not a person that believes in magic or miracles. I knew something happened. I just didn't know what it was. And now looking back, when all of that was happening, basically I was opening up all of the energy channels in my body. My energy was flowing. Emotions is one of the primary factors of almost every single person that stops them from keep lifting up their energy, lifting up their rising in the way they feel. You know, emotions, all emotions are is energy in motion. Energy, motion, emotion.
Okay.
And so when we label it as like anger or frustration or depression or happiness or peace, we're just giving it a name. It's like looking at 5 persons and going, that's Bob, that's John, that's Sarah, that's Brad.
Yeah.
They're just names, right? It's just that's not who they really are. They're just names. Emotions, energy, and motion, all it is just energy frequencies. They're just different frequency of energy that's circulating in you, circulating in me, and everywhere else.
Interesting.
And when our energy frequency is really low, we feel like shit. We have bad emotions. We're angry all the time. We're stressed all the time, all this stuff. When our energy frequency is high, we're happy. We're joyful. See, it has nothing to do with like what we're doing on the outside. It doesn't matter if we have money, don't have money, we have a partner, we don't have a partner, our dog just died, my dad just died. It has nothing to do with that. It literally has to do with the energy that is inside of our body.
Okay.
See, because that's the message. Just one of the main messages that I'm coming back. I didn't care about social media. It's like, I was just gonna leave and just go live another life. I don't care, you know? But I realized like so many people need to learn this because their happiness, their experience of reality depends on it. If somebody's energy frequency that's running in their body is a low frequency caused by blockages. If I tense up my shoulders here, if I tense up my abs, if I tense up my jaw, if I tense up here, any tenseness in the body is like a pipeline that gets squeezed. What happens if you have a pipe and things are flowing and then you tense up? What happens? It stops the flow. Right? So emotions, when we have negative emotions, it gets our bodies to tense up. We naturally tense up. Think about when you're mad. Think about when you're stressed. Boom, all these different tense happens. When that happens, it restricts the energy flow in the body. So when the restriction happens, our energy, no matter where it's at, it starts to drop. And when it drops, now we are experiencing that energy, which we call emotions. And so most people are so tense that the energy can't flow well. So you know what happens when someone's energy can't flow well? Their emotions are bad. So they're always tense. They're always stressed. They're always frustrated. Their thoughts are the same way of fear. Why? Well, the energy in the body is equate to the energy in the mind. The mind and body are completely linked together. If we have negative emotions, the thoughts that we have is linked to these emotions. Like if somebody's angry because they feel the emotion of anger, they're not going to have happy thoughts. They're going to have angry thoughts.
Yeah.
If somebody is having the emotion of happiness, they're going to have the thoughts of happiness. You know, if they have the emotion, the energy of peace, they're going to look around and they're not going to have any problems. Everything is cool. It doesn't matter what's going on. Their thoughts resemble the emotions. Every thought, there's an emotion attached to it. And so when we change the energy, when we change the emotion, the thoughts automatically change. We don't even have to learn anything new. It's not like I learn all these new concepts and that's why I think that way. No, you don't have to do that. You literally can have the same exact knowledge that you currently have now. You literally change the emotion in the body, change that, and the thoughts change. So we have thoughts in our head that's like a pattern, right? We think of the same stuff all the time. We have a certain perspective. So that also influences the energy in our body, the emotions. They both influence each other.
Yeah, true.
So it's very, very beneficial and needed for someone to eventually change their thought patterns too. So let's say if somebody always feels they have positive emotions, right? They have high energy, therefore good emotions, but they keep thinking bad stuff. They keep complaining about people. They keep all this stuff. So now their emotions is good. So they may not be complaining as much, but they might be kind of cool with everything. They might go, you know what? Life kind of sucks. You know, these people they're stupid, blah, blah, blah. I'm cool. I don't give a shit about them anymore. But they're still kind of this negative mindset, but they're in a happy place. That's basically what happens when somebody who is, let's say, super negative raises up their energy. But then this is where we got to go in and go, okay, look, you don't need to keep judging these people. Let's go ahead and change your mindset. Let's kind of change these beliefs. So now at the end, what we have is a positive mindset and happy emotions. So when this happened, I didn't know any of these things. All I know is I became really, really, really happy. My injury disappeared within hours. My body became really, really light and it felt so good. It was like amazing. My thoughts stopped. I never was able to stop my thoughts or even know the need to stop thoughts. You know, the voice in our head, right? People would just keep running and they can't shut it up. So then you got like Headspace, you got all of these apps, all these things now going, hey, let's go ahead and get you to be more peaceful. Let's stop that mind chatter. My mind chatter stopped in 6 hours. By the time that this happened at the end, it was quiet in my head.
How long did
and
it
now
stop
suddenly
for?
I became present.
Yeah. How long did it stop for? Like the mind chatter? For a few hours or something, or?
No.
Yeah.
It never came back the same way again.
Wow, okay.
It's been almost 5 years now.
Whoa.
You can't imagine. It's like imagine in your room right now, you've got a radio playing. Sometimes the radio plays a super positive person saying nice stuff, and sometimes you have this person, it plays somebody who's constantly talking shit and complaining, and you can't do nothing about it. You can't turn it down, you can't switch the station. You know, you can muffle your ears a little bit, but you still hear it.
Yep.
That's like what people are experiencing when they have mind chatter. They're either experiencing positive things or they're experiencing negative things, but they don't have the capacity to experience none of the things and literally just be in peace, you know? And so when that happened, it was like, it was literally like I was seeing things with a new pair of eyes. Because every time when we have a thought, a judgment, we don't see what's actually there. What we see is through this filter. Let's say this is one judgment. So I don't see you, Khoa. I see judgment, and then through this judgment of you, now I see you.
Yeah.
So if I go, man, Asians are really, really smart. That's a positive judgment. So I don't see you. I see an Asian who's really smart. You know? So then now we put in another judgment, you know, which is you have an accent, so you're not American, right? So you're from Europe, somewhere in Europe. So let's say I go, Europeans, Australian, okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I go, Australians are, they're really lazy, man. I've heard from some Australians, they said that they're really lazy. Okay, so I don't see you anymore. I see a lazy Australian.
True.
Is it true? I don't know, but it doesn't matter because I see it that way. And so every time when we have a judgment, it influences the perception in the way we see a person, the way we see ourselves, the way we see anything. And so over time, what happens is people are having so many judgments constantly, they don't see what's there. Whether or not, if someone goes, hey, Khoa, man, oh, you're my boy, man. I really care about you. And you have all of these judgments that you may think, oh, this person's only telling me that because he's going to go ahead and ask me for money. He's going to ask me for a favor. He's just only feeling that right now because, you know, he's drunk. I mean, you don't really care and whatever. But in reality, it's like, that's because we have all these judgments. Now, whether or not that's true is now another story. Because what is true? Everything is our own opinion. I think you're a good looking guy. Okay, that's true. I don't think you're a good looking guy. Okay, that's true. Everything is true. Everything is just our opinions. But these judgments, what they do is they skew the truth. They skew what we see. And this is how people live this way. And so when we take away the mind chatter, we are removing the judgments. So now people are able to see clearly everything. If I have a fear of spiders, every time I look at a spider, I don't see a spider. What I see is something that is going to hurt me. So then what is my first thought if I see something that's going to hurt me? Kill it. You know, get away from it. Run or fight, right? And so this is how people are living. And that's why we need to go ahead and help people get rid of all of these judgments, get rid of all of this mind chatter. And when they experience peace, there's no more wars. There's no more killing people for this and that. There's no, I'm going to stab you in back and stab your back so it's going to get ahead. There's none of that stuff. All of that stuff is all equate to having all of these judgments about things, feeling so low in the way they feel, their emotions. So because this is their energy, so that all of their expression, all of their action is fueled by this emotion. So it's like, I don't even blame people for doing bad things because I understand, you know, it's not their fault. They don't get to choose, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, my mission is like to be able to help people understand this and also to allow people to be able to actually solve it. There's a simple way to solve this, to be able to get out of this rut. It's simple, but it takes work to do, you know? That's why I went ahead and that's why my flow practice, I do it every morning. I film it, I just blast it out there. You know, it's like, I don't sell it. It's free. You know, it's like, I'm just gonna, here it is. I'm not gonna go, you know, hey, you know, I've created this thing. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. You need to click and buy and that's marketing. No, this is exactly what I do. Like, that's it, you know? And another thing is I don't go and do these secret exercises and then go, here's what you should do, but I'm going to do those things. That's it's what trainers do. You somebody that's like super jacked and they're like, hey man, show how to do the best push-ups. No, motherfucker, you don't just do push-ups, you know, shit. I saw you bench pressing 3 plates the other day. What do you mean you can just do these push-ups and build a big chest? You know? It's like, you know, it's like, so I realized that all people have to do is change their energy. All they have to do is change your energy and do it every day. Is it going to happen today? Hell no, man. But everything that we do makes a difference. If you don't do work, if you haven't worked out at all, and then you just did 10 push-ups, that 10 push-ups is going to change your muscles. It's going to change your body a little bit, right? So let's say if you don't exercise, you can tell what happens. If you exercise, you can tell what happens. Every little rep, everything makes a difference. So if somebody was to do that practice every single day, their energy would change. And what happens is when they start to get used to a new energy, when their body is able to start to hold on to this new energy, and now their body, because their bodies is cleansed, their bodies is open. All the pipelines in our body, they're like, imagine our bodies like tiny little pipelines everywhere. Blood vessels, arteries, energy meridians, their pipelines run everywhere. And when all the pipelines are really, really open, energy is flowing like crazy, and our body is used to doing that because we're doing the practice every day. Now our energy rises, our emotion rises, our thoughts change, and now before you know it, we're a new person. We're actually happy. Whether or not we achieved our goals or not doesn't even matter. We are happy while we go after our goals, and we are happy when we fail. And we are happy when our house burns down, and we're happy when it doesn't matter. You see, that's what like all the like, this is what like Buddha and Jesus, all of these like prophets, that's actually what they're really trying to teach. I started reading all this stuff and I go, damn, man, I realized why it's like so confusing. And I just like, what I love to do, what I did for Six Pack is all I do is I take complicated stuff and I try to make it the most simplest. Because number one, that's how I understand it. I can't understand complicated. It's too complicated. It's like my mind just hurts. So I make it simple so this way I can understand it. And I think if it's simpler, other people can understand it too. And that's basically it. It's so simple. Let's just change the energy. How do you change your energy? Number one, move around. So this way you can get the energy to flow around. Number two, eat right. Why? Because if you put bad food, it's going to clog up your pipelines. It's not even about the looks. Forget the looks. Clog up your pipelines so that your energy can't flow, your blood can't flow, anything can't flow, oxygen can't flow. So you got to eat good food so this way your pipelines inside your body's open. So we got move around, eat good so your pipelines can be open, energy can flow. And what's the last thing for energy? Emotions. Try to do your best to have positive emotions. This way you keep your pipelines flowing. When your energy flows, you don't get sick. My lady Natalia, she got a cold and her throat started hurting and all this stuff. And I'm with her all the time, you know, I'm with her all the time and next to her all the time. And I sleep with her, all this stuff. And I can tell 3 days ago that I'm picking up on it. But you know what? She's like stuffing and blah, blah. I feel like crap. Me, I hawked out a noogie today and I go, my body's getting rid of it. My energy is flowing so much that I get rid of everything. I tell people, like people think I'm bullshitting when I tell people I get rid of a flu in 3 hours. They go, what? You can't because of blah, blah, blah science. Fuck the science.
No.
I've been doing this for 15 years. 15 years, dude. And also I just now I learned how to get rid of food poisoning in 1 hour. So far, I've done it twice in the last year because I don't get food poisoning really often. One time was about 2 months ago in Orange County, California. And then another time was the first time I came to Bali. It was about like a year ago. Twice. And so, and I'm starting to understand, like, I'm not a doctor. I don't know I'm understanding how the fundamentals of how our body works. And so once I figured it out, it's like, okay, well, let me start testing. And so injuries, like all this stuff. And I started realizing like this stuff is not magic. And I'm not special either. This is just simply understanding like how things work in our body. When we understand how things work, if something is wrong with us, we do this thing. If something's wrong with us, we do that thing. This is basically what yoga is about. Yoga is freaking legit. It's not just these crazy little stretches and put your legs behind your head. There's a reason for those poses. There's so much teachings in it, you know? So now it's like, but it's really good for what it is. But there's a lot of things that people don't dive into. And so I'm all about focus and all about attention. You know, Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, The One Thing, right? There's that book, The One Thing. What is the one thing? Therefore, by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. And the one thing is to get the energy to flow in your body. The sicknesses and all that stuff gone. Energy through the roof, you know? And you look good. Why? Well, because your energy, your emotions will dictate everything. I used to eat bad foods all the time. And I had to go ahead and structure all of my eating and stuff because you put bad food in front of me, I'll eat it. I didn't have any control because I was emotionally eating it, you know? But then that emotion, it's low, that's why. So therefore I looked good on the outside, but inside my emotions was like crap. Now my emotions is high because my energy is high. So now I'm in Bali, dude. There's like so much food around. It's super dirt cheap. You can eat every single day, appetizer, main course, and dessert. It'll be under $10.
Loving it.
I don't even care, you know? Yeah.
Oh, man, that's incredible. So it sounds like, would you say that it's, you've removed like the ego? You went through like an ego death where you saw how the way you were communicating with people and you saw how other people communicating, it was just through ego where, you know, people were judging them through like this filter, and you somehow figured out that just removing the veil that you can see things that a lot more clearer. Is that what Is that what you're describing? Similar to that?
So imagine like an ego death, right? The way I like to see it is more of like self-realization. I stopped identifying with my thoughts. You know, there's a lot of people out there right now that if I was to go and tell them, I go, hey, man, you know that voice in your head? That's not you. Like that's not you. You are the awareness that's listening to the voice. You know those images that you see in your mind, no matter what they are, that's not you. That's your mind putting up these images like a projector. You know that movie you see in your mind, that's not you either. They'll look at me, they'll be like, they don't understand.
Yeah.
Because they think that is them. They go, oh, this is me thinking right now. No. It's like, that's like, no, like this is not, your shirt is not you. You wear that shirt. The thoughts is not you. You use these thoughts to go ahead and create. You use these thoughts to analyze them and to compare and all this stuff. It's not you. When I was able to change my perspective and realize that the whole time I had this, this non-worthy, not enough perspective about myself, and I needed to prove and all this stuff. And suddenly I saw my life with another perspective. I realized that I can't be the stories that I've been telling myself my whole life. Because if who I am is this person grew up and did this and like this and all this stuff, if that was me, and suddenly all the perspective shifts, then does that mean I suddenly changed? Like, I'm still here, I'm standing here, nothing's changed. Like, how can I be these stories? I must not be these stories. If I'm not these stories, then I must not be these thoughts. If I'm not these thoughts, then who am I? And when I realized that, I was like, holy shit, this is like some real shit. This is like the Truman Show times 1,000,000% bigger, like, oh my God, like I'm not me. It's like freaking like that Total Recall.
What's going
Who are
on?
you? I'm not you. I'm not. And I was just like, oh my God. And I remember like when I realized that, the first thing, like I could feel these chills running through me, man.
Wow.
And I just started breathing. It's like, and it was just a reaction. It was like I didn't know why I was breathing. It was just like this reaction. I was like, oh man, this is crazy shit. I just started deep breathing. And then I kept talking and realizing these things, minding my mind. And then I started deep breathing continuously. I do it, breathe, do it, breathe. And I felt this weird sensation on the top of my head. So I started tapping it.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. Just sometimes with my knuckle and sometimes with my hands. I didn't know why.
Okay.
It's like if your arm hurts, nobody's going to tell you to touch your arm. You'll go, ow, right? Oh, my stomach hurts. Oh, you would just touch it. It's a natural reaction.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I had this weird sensation in my head. And I started tapping it. It's just a natural reaction. And I paced around the room during the 6 hours. This is all with that event. And also I was just speaking out loud because I was practicing not caring about what other people thought. My friend did a talk earlier that day, and I realized that I actually care like crazy what people think, and that I'm not being authentic. Because I thought I was authentic. And then when I realized I wasn't, that was like the first slap in the face. Because I told people how to be authentic. Yeah. And suddenly I realized I wasn't, and I've been lying to myself. I was like, oh shit. So I started to speak out loud because I didn't want to like be afraid of what people would think. So the way I saw it is, well, I'm just gonna speak out loud. Whatever comes to me, I'm just gonna speak it. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna speak it. Who cares?
Yeah.
So I'm here like as I'm figuring out that I'm not these stories, I'm figuring out how my mind is, all this stuff. I was speaking it all out loud. And so those 4 things, I was speaking out loud constantly, I was deep breathing, I was tapping my head, and I was walking around. And so over the past 4 to almost 5 years now, I've been studying this event over and over and over, and also mushrooms, right? Mushrooms and MDMA. I was studying it because what I wanted to do was I wished that everybody can experience this. The world will change. Hands down, this is freaking the second coming of Christ. I'm talking the world would change. This is some serious shit. People will be like, it's like being pulled out of the Matrix straight up.
Yeah.
Except much better. You don't wake up in a shitty ass
in the robots and shit.
You know, eating freaking crap oatmeal, going, oh, this is life. Fuck that. Put me back in the base.
It tastes like chicken. Well, that's your electrical brain telling you it tastes like chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like that. It's actually complete opposite. It's like heaven. It's awesome. And I just wish everybody experienced that. And so I've been studying it over and over and over. And I realized that basically what I did by accident, I didn't do it on purpose, but accident, what I did was those combinations opened up my energy. And so I was thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to teach people how to do that. And then I realized there was one component that would be missing. And that is, I'm a coach. I've been coaching people for a long time.
Yeah.
And one of the major things beyond these 5 elements was that I was figuring out things, and I was asking myself questions, and I was digging and digging and digging to look for the truth behind things. Because when I realized the truth, then I was able to go, oh my God, I'm changing my belief systems about myself, about life in general. But not everybody can do that because they don't know the right questions to ask. They don't know how to dig. They don't know how to, they're not used to coaching people. And I've been doing it for so long. So basically what I did was I self-coached myself for 6 hours. And so I'm like, okay, dang, well, that's not going to work, And I experimented with different people over the past few years, And so I even tried to where I would have them doing the same thing, and I would be in the room and I'd go and coach them, pulling them through. Didn't work.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, there's gotta be another way to do it. And then so that's when finally I realized, okay, just get their energy to change. When their energy changes, now they become open to receiving everything. They become open to looking at different perspectives because literally their perspective changed. You see, when someone's energy is really low, they're in a lot of stress. They're tense. They're in fight or flight all the time. And when their body's in fight or flight, they're not open to anything new. New is risky. New is not safe. If somebody is scared, their body is in fight or flight, so they're in the survival instinct, survival mode. They rather go ahead and do what is familiar. Even if what is familiar is not the best, doesn't matter, because I'd rather be safe. I'd rather be secure. I'd rather know what's going to happen than to venture out and try to do something that's great, but I don't know what's going to happen. It's too scary. Something bad could happen. And I'm afraid already. Why would I go ahead and chance it? No, let me just play it safe. You see, so it makes it really tough for people to change their belief systems. It makes it really tough for people to go for it, take that little risk, because they're so afraid and they rather just do the same things. But if we can get people to not be afraid anymore, lift their energy up. And now somebody's energy is high, they're not afraid anymore. When their body's energy is really high, they're not in fight or flight. They're not super tense. They're able to relax now. Their body's chilling now. So they may still have some crap beliefs and all this stuff, but their body is fine now. And they're now open. Their emotions changed. Now they're able to go ahead and go for that thing they've always wanted, that they were afraid of going for. But now they haven't even learned anything new, right? Let's say they haven't learned anything new, but they just might go, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. There's this thing that I've been wanting to do my whole entire life. I've been praying it all for years and years. There's a vacation I wanted to go. There's this woman I wanted to go and talk to. She's been my friend for 2 years. I just want to tell her that I've had this crush on her the whole time.
Yeah, sure.
They're just going to go for it now because they're not afraid anymore. Their energy changed. And so now people are starting to go ahead and live, because you can't really live when you're constantly in fear. And people they're always in this low end of stress. That's why the energy is so low. Their beliefs are the same way. And so when they get out of it, their life opens up. They can feel alive. And whether or not they make money, achieve this, achieve that, it doesn't matter anymore, because they're enjoying their entire life. They're enjoying their life. They're enjoying the process. They're enjoying the journey. So if they hit the goals, cool. They get really excited, but they don't fluctuate now from they achieve something, they get really happy, and then they go back down. Now they just stay from, if they don't achieve their goals, how do they feel? Peaceful. They just feel peaceful. Everything is cool. When they achieve their goals, how do they feel? Ecstatic, excited, super, super, super happy and blissful. So they fluctuate between that. They don't drop down to, I achieved my goals, so I'm super happy. Let's go pop some bottles and celebrate. And then let's set another goal. Okay, a week later, oh, we're behind, man. We're not doing good, man. Fuck, we need to do this and do this and do this. And now they're back down here. And then 3 months later, maybe they hit that goal again. Oh, right, we're feeling good again. And then, oh man, there's a new goal, and this new goal is really tough. We're super stressed again. And they keep doing this in their life, but they don't need to. Now they just go from here to here. Here is normal, peace, feeling okay, neutral, and this is excited. They don't go down, This doesn't mean that we will be perfect human beings who will never experience any anger, any, freaking depression or sadness. Things will happen, it's like we're, quote, human, but I don't like that, because when people say I'm human, that's like saying you're weak because you're human. I'm human, therefore I'm going to do stupid shit because I'm human. Nah, man, that's not the thing. It's natural to go ahead and feel these things sometimes, but we're constantly feeling like negative emotions all the time. We're constantly stressed. There's an issue, and people will start to fluctuate through here. And once in a while, they get down here. Things happen. But guess what, though? They can bounce back up. They don't stay down here. They bounce back up because their energy is used to being here and here. They're used to floating here. Their pipelines are completely open. So when they experience something really bad, they drop down, maybe because it's that bad, but they bounce back up really quickly. Versus most people stay so low and they only bounce up through some special event and they stay back down. They're always fluctuating here.
That's incredible, man. I think I think I got a bit of a taste of what you're describing there, because over the past year I've been meditating and I've been trying to train my brain to not think, those thoughts, and I've been putting thoughts in perspective. Is thought just exactly what you said? A thought is just a thought. It doesn't define you. It can just go away at any moment. And I was able to get to that point where I was not thinking. I didn't have any thoughts for just maybe a few seconds. It was just only a few seconds, and I felt eternal bliss. It was just incredible. It was a great experience. But then obviously my thoughts came back in again, and so then I have to try and train it again. But that few seconds when I just didn't have anything to think about, when I let go, it was just incredible. I remember I was just sitting on the train, and I was just meditating, and then it didn't matter what people were talking about, but I just wasn't thinking. I was just absent-minded, and my brain was just completely clear, and I just felt incredible happiness just sitting on the train, right? So, and I think what you said there is you're focusing on this full time. There's not a lot of people that's doing this. You're going inward full time. You're experimenting with the energy, and it's really fascinating what you're describing, and I think what you're offering to the world is going to be absolutely incredible, because I think a lot of people, they're just so busy with the day-to-day life. They're so busy with the job, the stress of the job, and they don't have time to think about these type of things. But you're already out there, and you're way beyond the whole day-to-day thing. You're trying to find ways to improve yourself mentally as well. So I think what you said there is absolutely incredible, man. I can't wait to check out what you got next, man. So are you putting something together soon, or
in the process right now? In the process. Nice. People are really caught up in the day-to-day thing, and I don't expect them to walk away from it. I had the opportunity to walk away because I built a company, and so I had a chance to go ahead and sell it and make some money and be okay for a while. However, so I realized that. So that's why it's like, okay, there's all these books and all this stuff about the right way to do it, but it's not. That doesn't work. It's not the most practical. People can't go to an ashram and just leave their life, or they can't just do a 10-day vipassana and sit there and not say anything forever. It's like, no, they got lives to live. So I realized though, but if somebody can do their daily life and they only had to focus on one thing, and they just did that one thing every day, and it accomplishes a whole bunch of their other goals too, all within this one thing, and that's it. They don't do anything else. They just do that one thing. Then they're able to do it. They don't have to leave their jobs. They don't have to leave their country. They don't have to change their life. They just do that one thing. And that one thing is doing a practice every single day. So you're talking about silencing your thoughts through meditation.
Yeah.
So this is how our thoughts stop. Before, I was doing the same thing, meditating.
Yeah.
I started off 5 minutes. 5 minutes felt like eternity. Oh my God. You know, I
chasing after every thought, man. Yeah. I know.
I thought my timer was broken. I set
Checking
a 5 minute
what's
timer.
going on. And you're getting frustrated for nothing.
Like a minute and a half. Dang, it's not broken. Okay, right. It's working fine. Yeah. And then I think, oh, maybe it timed out. Nope, it didn't.
And then you start thinking about something else that happened. It's crazy.
Nuts. So then I focused on it too, you know, to try and silence my mind.
Yeah. I
realized that the way our mind silences is just like this. The energy in our body. If the energy in our body is fast, if it's moving really, really fast, and it's very chaotic, boom, 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 moving all over the place. The way that you can tell when somebody's doing that is that they are fidgeting and doing all this weird movements for no apparent reason. And they're constantly looking around. They can't seem to pay their attention to you. You ever see somebody, they're like this, you talk to them, they're like, hey, yeah, and they blink.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
They got something, yeah.
And you're like,
what's wrong with this guy?
are you winking at me or what's up, you know? So when the energy in their body is chaotic, you know, and moving around super fast, our thoughts are mirroring the same thing. Boom, 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 one thing after another. Okay. And so with meditation, what we're doing is we're sitting there and we're calming down the energy. Our energy would eventually calm down the longer we sit there, you know, because it's like a car that we turn off the engine, but it's still rolling. So it'll still roll, just like we sit there and we stay still, and it'll still chat. But it's only a matter of time before this car comes to a complete stop. And our thoughts the same way. We sit there, eventually it'll start to slow down until it stops. So here's the thing. If somebody had 1 hour every day and they were going to go ahead and just meditate for 1 hour every day, it would be tremendous for them. It would be awesome, right? But here's the thing though. If they had that 1 hour, what else do they want to do with that 1 hour? Let's say people have busy lives, which they do, you know? If that 1 hour, they used to work out in that 1 hour. They want to go ahead and stretch in that 1 hour. They want to go ahead and play some sports and be active. They have other things that they want to do in that 1 hour. So it becomes this opportunity cost, this trade-off thing, you know? So if they just sat there, it would work, but they want to go to the gym because they want to have a nice body. So they go, you know what? Oh man, you know, well, maybe I'll just meditate a little bit and go to the gym, or I'll just meditate once or twice a week, or I stop working out and I just meditate. And then now they get flabby and now they're not happy. So now they're trying to stop their thoughts, but all their thoughts are is, man, I'm flabby. Oh my God, can't believe I let myself go like this. I need to start working out again. So, but there are other ways to get our energy to calm down and slow down. You see, when we get our energy to go ahead and calm down and slow down, our mind slows down and stops.
Okay.
So in my practice, what I do is we're doing all these different moves, but the entire practice is, if I had to go ahead and look at one thing to focus on, it would be to be calm and relax. That's it.
Be calm and
Everything
relax. Okay.
in practice is about being calm and relaxed. So I'm here doing pull-ups. I'm here doing burpees. I'm here doing jumps. I'm focusing on being calm and relaxed. Why? Well, when we have the intention to be calm and relaxed, now we are able to create it. But if we don't have the intention for something, we can do the same action that can create it, but we won't create it. Our intention drives the results, and our intention drives what it is that we create. And so when we're doing this practice and we are focusing on being calm and relaxed, the actual practice itself is also to go ahead and get more calm and relaxed, from the stretching to the breathing and all these things. There are a few different principles that we focus on.
Okay.
The first one is being calm and relaxed. Tense only what is needed in order to do the action, and relax everything else. So let's say we're sitting here, right? And we're having a podcast, we're chilling, we're talking. Do we need to tighten up our abs?
No.
Probably not, right? Do we need to tighten up our shoulders?
No. Don't need to do it.
No, right? Do we need to tighten up our jaw, right? Do we need to tighten up our back? I mean, we're sitting down, hanging out.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of like areas that we need to be tense on, right? And then everything else we can just kind of relax, because every time when we tighten up something, it uses energy. It drains us. Like sit there right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna relax.
You to go ahead.
All right.
So I want you to sit there right now and actually flex your right leg. Push your right leg to the ground, right?
Okay, yep.
So now push your right leg to the ground, right?
Yep.
And then now go ahead and flex your chest together. Right?
Okay.
And just squeeze your chest together.
Yep.
All right. So now we're just gonna go in extreme tension. So now we can still sit here and talk, and eventually we can kind of get to like where we're locking our muscles and we're just kind of chilling and still talking. It starts to become natural over time.
Yeah.
We can still do what we're doing right now, which is talking.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's draining our energy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's also affecting my thoughts as well.
It's
getting uncomfortable and I'm having unhappy thoughts right now because I'm just all tense and stuff, right? That's amazing. Yeah.
It's a simple thing, right? And so people are naturally operating with tension throughout their body. And a lot of them don't even realize it. And so number one is they are constantly using more energy than necessary to do anything and everything. Number two is now they're pushing down their emotions. They're not able to rise up in emotions because their energy is not able to flow. When their body's tense, you can't have it flow, And now what happens if someone does this for a long time? Their posture starts to change.
Yeah, true.
Now you got people with these different weird postures and stuff, and then that becomes normal now. And then down their muscles start to develop in that way to reinforce it. So number one is to go ahead and be calm and relax so we can teach our bodies how to be able to let go. When we teach our bodies how to let go of tension, what happens is if we get stressed and we tense up at that moment, we can literally let it go on the spot right away. We don't have to talk about it, do anything. We literally just let it go on the spot. We don't have to move. Nobody can even tell you're doing it. You just simply just relax in your body because we have that control now in our muscles. It's like our muscles like this. Oh, let's just let it go. And it's gone. Oh, it got tensed up. Let it go. It's gone. Like we can control it. But just like bodybuilding, if you don't know how to control that muscle, you don't practice on it, you can't get a muscle to fire. You can't get your chest to bounce until you start to work on that muscle. You can't get your lats to flare out. You can't do all these things until you start to learn how that muscle mind connection. So it's the same idea.
Okay.
We can't get our bodies to relax, let go until we practice it. Wow. Until then, we have no control over the relaxation of it. So then by default, our muscles stay really tense. Why? Because every time when we get stressed, every time we have a negative emotion, our natural response is to tense up. Why? Because when that happens, our body is responding through fight or flight. You see? True. And when you're in a fight or flight mode, your muscles need to be tense because you're ready to do one of two things, and both of them involve running or fighting. Both involves tension. So when someone's like, "Hey man, fuck you," automatically you tense up because you're about to do one of two things, So this tension response is a very natural response. Nobody needs to teach us how to do that. We will naturally do it ourselves. It's a mechanism in our body. It's for survival, so it's needed. But here's the thing though, when we are constantly doing that, in a perfect world, if we are totally relaxed and we tense up, then when the danger is gone, when we're not angry anymore, we go back to a normal relaxation. Everything is cool. But here's what happens. We get tense, and instead of dropping all the way down, we drop down to here. And then we get tense, and we drop down to here. And there's this gap here. We're not at the default state of full relaxation. We're a little above it. Now over time, every year, every day, and eventually, the same things, it doesn't drop. We don't drop down anymore because our body is now used to this stress. Now this event that used to get us stressed and then now back down, we're always stressed now. So now somebody's yelling at us all the time. Who cares? I'm used to this person yelling at me, right? So it goes, come on, man, we gotta do this, man. Dude, are you pay attention? Oh, I got it. You're so used to this environment, you're thinking, oh, everything's cool. But in reality, what actually happens is somebody stays so stressed that it doesn't bother them anymore because they're always at this state now. So now something else gets them really stressed. They're like, whoa, I'm stressed. Okay, cool. All right, that thing is gone. Then we go back down to normal. But normal is stress. They don't go back down to here anymore. They stay here. This is what we call the sympathetic nervous system constantly firing. This is what we call default state of fight or flight.
Okay.
And this is also what we call sickness and diseases. You see, this is what we call mental disorders. Here, people need to get back down to here, to where they're back into their natural state, what I call natural state, because we're not supposed to be stressed and tense all the time. We should be relaxed when we are able to be relaxed, when there's nothing going on, you know? But most people are not that. They're always here. They fluctuate between a low end of stress and a very, very high end of stress, and they bounce around. So when they get to here, they go, everything is normal again. And here, I'm stressed. But then what happens? Same thing, right? Let's say they keep doing this until eventually this becomes their normal state of being again.
Yeah, true.
And then the pattern continues. Why? You know, let's say, you know, I've never been a soldier. So if I go into you start seeing people die everywhere, it's crazy, right? Not from the movies, it's real life now. So let's say I'm at this normal state of stress. Now I go out to war, I go out into army training, they yell at you, slap at you, all this stuff. Boom. Stress is high. Why? Because they're prepping you so you don't get killed out there. So now, but we're able to now deal with this high stress because we're so used to it. We're getting our body used to it. So now this is normal. So now there's all this crazy stuff happening. Everything's okay. I'm able to think. Everything is cool. I'm used to it, you know? So now there has to be something crazier to actually spike me up. That's what they do. So this way they can get people used to the environment, all that stuff. So what happens now is somebody's super stressed and they're super tense. They don't know what this feels like. They have no idea. It's been so long. If you ask them, are you relaxed? Yeah, I'm pretty relaxed. They don't even know what this relax feels like. So they go, yeah, I'm relaxed because this is normal and you can't see the screen. But if I was to go higher, that is stress.
Yeah.
You know? So this is normal, but this is stress. But when I get to here and I'm super, super, super angry, I'm about to kill somebody. Oh, I'm stressed. Here, I just talk shit all the time and I blame everybody, but that's cool. That's just normal. That's what happens to people. So you got people like Wim Hof with breathing and ice and all this stuff. He's doing exactly the same thing that we're talking about right now. Exactly the same thing. It's just a different method. He uses ice. Awesome, awesome method. It works. It's legit.
Wow.
You know, it forces the body to go ahead. It opens up. It forces the body to contract. And then when you get out of the ice, everything freaking opens up. It's legit. It works. And the breathing, same thing. The only thing is, if somebody doesn't have ice available, they can go to an event and it will be awesome. But if they don't have ice available, what do? A cold shower is not cold enough. You know, you need to really, really drop in. The breathing is legit, you know, but there's more, right? So, but he's doing the same thing, you know, and then you got all this other stuff. You got Dr. Joe Dispenza doing the same thing, changing the feeling, changing all of that through meditation. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, you know, I'm a fitness guy. I love to work out. How do I go ahead and accomplish what everybody is trying to accomplish, you know, but at the same time, be able to aesthetically look good and be able to have the athletic performance without spending more time. Because when I first started this, after I left Six Pack Shortcuts, and I started looking to see how I could recreate this for everybody else, my practice was 4 hours every day, 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And it worked, but it was 4 hours. And actually, it didn't even work as well as right now, but it still was pretty good. And I was like, man, you know, there's got to be another way to do this, you know? And then so I kept looking at it, and I started combining moves together. I started shaving off things. I started simplifying. I started understanding the deeper principles. And so finally, the things that we're talking about is what has been condensed over almost 5 years now of every day studying this, every day experimenting, every day talking to so many people and taking all these bits and pieces and trying to find the fundamental principles. If somebody tells me something I've never heard before, then we see how that fits in. Because if it's the truth, it will fit in. It may just fit in from a different perspective, you know? And what I realize now, that's why my practice is 1 hour long. And it allows me to stay lean, allows me to stay muscular, allows me to be able to be flexible, allows me to be athletic, and it allows me to teach my body how to relax so I can silence my thoughts, so I can just be in peace all the time, you know? And it does all of that in 1 hour. And that's why I'm like, and it's the most simplest thing. And another thing is you don't even have to change it up. I do the same 1 hour practice every single day, every day, same stuff. So over time, it's like brushing your teeth and taking a shower. You can do it without thinking about it. Your body literally remembers how to do it so well to where you are absent-minded. You don't even have to think about it. So now when somebody is constantly doing these moves, that's helping them be strong and relaxed and flexible and all this stuff, they don't have to think about it. Just like it becomes so easy, right? It's like how easy it is to go and take a shower and brush your teeth. And you know, it's like, you're not, I'm just going to do this. It's so easy. And whatever is easy becomes a habit. If something was really difficult, it'd be kind of tough to do, you know? But something that's easy, we do it more often. And if it's a habit, now somebody can do it every day. And if somebody does it every day, their body will naturally adapt and change. Their energy will constantly stay open. They don't have to even have the intention now to do it. It's going to happen on its own because they're literally doing the practice that is designed for that. And that's what I realized. So I'm like, how do we make people like actually be able to get results? Because I know it's not about the workout programs. It's not about all this stuff. The biggest thing is habits. People literally don't have the habit to train. And that's why they get in shape and they get out of shape, and they get in shape and they get out of shape. But they have to stay consistent. But consistency is one of the biggest hurdles. It's like the hurdle for getting in shape. It's not, I mean, you can do bodybuilding, you can do CrossFit, you can do calisthenics, you can do freaking gymnastics, you can go ahead and swim 5 miles a day. You can do all this stuff and your body will be in good shape. It'll look different, but you'll still be healthier than not doing anything. You know, you'll still be athletic. It's just we got to be able to do it every day. Whatever, successful people got successful habits. Healthy people got healthy habits. It's all about the habits. But how do we create the habit, you know? And everybody's like motivation, all this stuff. It's like, yes, but how do we go ahead and make it so it's the easiest possible? And I realized one of the biggest things to make it as easy as possible is to get someone to do the same thing every day. Because they do the same thing. It's just, it's redundant. Somebody don't have to think anymore. Law of repetition. Their body literally gets used to doing the same thing. And so, like I was saying earlier, if I tell somebody to do something, I'm not going to do something else. And that's why I don't do other things. I literally just do the practice. And besides that, I do other things that is exactly in the practice. Part 2 of the practice is doing push-ups and pull-ups and dips and squats and all the 12 exercises, basically. I just do more of those things if I want to build more muscle. Or if I'm tight, I sit and I'll just stretch and I'll just do the same thing. So I don't do anything extra. Like once in a while, I'll join a yoga class, like maybe once every few months. And I'm like, and I'm better than over most of the people in there. I don't even do yoga, but it's not, you know, it's not about that. It's about just being so consistent. So I stay flexible and just all this stuff. That's the key, man. And that's why, like, I'm sharing with these people and letting people know. People don't do that because they think they're not going to get results. They think I got to change it up. It's all that marketing, you know?
That's your gift, man. Like from from watching your videos and also practicing your, six-pack shortcuts program, like you're just a natural teacher. Like you're really good at getting the information, getting rid of all the crap and just synthesizing it down to just the core fundamentals and explaining it so well that, you can just easily understand it. You're naturally motivating. And I've read lots of reviews about you where people say, he's a natural motivator. He is a great personal trainer. And I think that's your gift, man. Like you're really good at teaching people the physical side of it, but now you're moving onto like, you've reached the physical limits and now you're moving on to like the spiritual limits, right? And I just can't wait until you release like this next thing. Well, yeah, it's going to be incredible, man. It's going to be probably phase 4, the mindset, something like that, right? So I think it's going to be absolutely incredible, man. Like I can't wait to. So and like the thing is,
the next thing is nothing even fancy, man. All it is a online training. Yeah. It's having people join me on a morning practice. Let's just do it online. Let's do it together.
Yeah.
I came up with this accountability system.
Okay.
It's really awesome. It's super simple.
Okay.
How do you go ahead and get somebody to be accountable? Let's say you and I would become workout partners. Let's go work out together. So how do I know if you're going to work out where, I see you, you're right there, And so, but how do you do it connecting with everybody else in the world? So I thought about this really simple idea.
Okay.
All we do is to go ahead and there's something called proof of practice. And all it is when someone does their practice, they film it on the time lapse. They just put their phone down, lean against the wall, or they can get a tripod, or you can put it against a cup. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to look good. It doesn't need to have a nice angle. It's filmed on time lapse, or basically a high speed. So if somebody was to go ahead and do a 60-minute practice, the clip will be like 30 seconds. And all the purpose of this is to serve as proof that they did it.
Okay.
So all they do is go ahead and send it in. They'll send it into the group. And I'll look at it and I go, okay, awesome. You did it. Cool. Let's keep on going. Every day, that's all you got to do. Do your practice and send in the proof. So now it keeps them accountable. I can't just go ahead and cheat and said, oh yeah, I did it. I did 60. Really, you only did like 40. Or, hey, I did 7. You only did like freaking 3 minutes. Or, hey, I did it. Damn, I feel bad for lying. No, now you can't lie, motherfucker. You got to freaking send that in. Now,
I got proof, yeah.
And so, it's just proof. But you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't give room for judgment. It doesn't give room for competition, analyzation, to compare. Why? Because it's so fast. You can't see what's going on. They're just waving their arms around. It's so fast. You can't see. All you know is that they're moving. They're doing the thing. But the moves are so fast. You can't really tell. But here's the thing. Like when we do that, the only thing that we care about now is what we're basically saying is that if you did it, good job. Good job, man. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
If you showed up and you just did it, it doesn't matter how good you did. It doesn't matter if you did good or did bad, or if you did this amount of repetition, or it doesn't matter. If you did it, great job. And the reason that we do it that way is so this way it takes them out of their mind. It starts to eliminate fear. So many people are fear of judgment.
Yeah.
So many people are constantly so self-conscious about themselves. And so therefore, like when they're exercising, when they're doing a practice, they're competing against all of these people. They're looking around. They're in a room. They're looking around. They're like, oh, man, am I doing it better than this person? I need to push harder and all this stuff. It's so hard and I'm struggling. This is not what I'm comfortable with, but I need to go ahead and keep faith, right? So this way I'll just keep going harder and harder, thinking that's going to be good. You know what it does is it creates a negative association to the practice because now they're suffering. They're in pain. They're uncomfortable. So imagine somebody that has to do something uncomfortable every single day. Like it sucks, you know?
Yeah.
Like why was somebody like it's only a matter of time before they stop? Because every time if somebody has to do something uncomfortable, they don't really want to do it, but they force themselves to do it. And if we force ourselves to do it, number one, nobody wants to be forced to do anything, you know? We don't want to be forced. We want to just do it ourselves. We want to do things that make us happy. We want to do things that are fun, that's enjoyable. So if we make the practice enjoyable by having the philosophy of not needing to compare, compete, and all that stuff, and not even comparing to ourselves from before. I don't need to compare to myself from yesterday because my best is changing at every moment. Every moment. If I go ahead and drink this cup of coffee and then after 5 minutes, my stomach starts to hurt. Now, the way I'm talking to you, my energy will change.
Yeah, it'll change.
And someday my best is not going to be here. It's going to be here. Right. And so therefore, should I beat myself up and go, damn, Khoa, I should have ate that. I should have drank that coffee, man. Man, who left that coffee? Oh, I've been sitting overnight, blah, 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 and all this complaining and all this stuff. What for, you know? It's like, so our best changes. I don't get enough sleep, and suddenly when I do the practice, I'm not as strong, right? I'm tired, or I worked my ass off yesterday, and now I'm so sore, I can't do half of it. So now suddenly I got a bad practice. It doesn't make sense. When we let go of all of that and we simply just go and know I'm always doing my best, and therefore whatever I'm doing is okay. Now we're able to go ahead and accept anything that we do. At the same time, we're able to go ahead and just pursue what it is we want to do. Some people go, well, if I accept it, how can I go ahead and have the desire to do better? If I'm okay with status quo, if I'm okay with what I have, what would strive me to get more? Yeah. Well, simple. You want to go ahead and get more because there's got to be some reason, and it can't, if it's not coming from a lack, maybe it's coming from abundance instead. You want to go ahead and help people. So how do you help people? You go ahead and provide the service, you provide this product, and then so when you help people, what happens? In return, you get more. If I want to go and help people get in better shape, and I go, well, if I want to help people get better shape and I build my body to look good, so this way I can inspire them to get in good shape. Now here's my motivation to build a better body so I can inspire those people. Versus I need to build a better body because I'm not good enough. I need to build a better body so this way people can respect me more. I need to build a better body so this way women will find me more attractive. So this way I don't look like this fat, sloppy person. On the outside, they just see a person building a better body. But the intention, completely different. And so these principles like that is to go ahead and rebuild somebody's mind, rebuild somebody's belief in the way that they approach fitness and also how they approach life. We just use it as fitness because it would help them actually become consistent and build a habit of doing the practice. But when somebody gets used to not judging themselves in their practice, now they get used to not judging themselves out in everyday life. Now they go, I don't need to judge myself in the way I look tonight, or my shirt's a little wrinkled. I don't care. Yeah. It's all good. I didn't have enough time to get it ironed, so this is the best that I can do. Cool. You know, or I go into this meeting, but my performance wasn't the best because, you know, I didn't get that much sleep last night. I've got a 3-year-old that was crying all night. I had to deal with that. So then this is the best I can do. It's okay. I'm cool. Right? Versus people beating themselves up all the time and feeling guilty and all that stuff. Just there's no need. Man, you know? So there's a big ripple effect to all of this. Yeah. So going back though, but this proof of practice, all somebody will do is just send it in. And what that'll do is going to go ahead and motivate other people in the group that sees it. And at the same time, it keeps everybody accountable. It works because I've been doing it also for myself. Yeah. And there are days where I would have skipped. The past Sunday, I was about to not do a practice. We were going to go out and hang out and all this stuff. And I wake up and I tell my girl, Natalia, I'm like, hey, babe, I need to go and send in my proof of practice. You know, I'm going to do a 7-minute. You know, do you mind? She's like, no, I don't mind. I'm like, okay, cool. I got up, I freaking did it really quick, send it out. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Do you have like the M100s version of this one? You know, the intensity version. That was intense. That one. You know, the quick one. Let's do a quick one before we go out. Oh man.
This is it can be equally as intense. Yeah. There's one section in the second part of the practice where you're jumping constantly.
Incredible.
And so you're just freaking like
they just like
just straight up like jumping, like nonstop like this for 1 minute.
Oh my god.
You know?
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, like how many people can just keep jumping? You know?
You can't do it. Yeah.
You know, it's like, man. So there's a lot of stuff that's like, it's pretty intense on some areas.
Oh man, that's okay. So Well, how long?
You gotta try it, man.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
You gotta try it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna 100% do it. All right.
Send in the proof of practice to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Share it on, put it on your stories, and then tag me, dude, and I'll go ahead and feature you on my stories.
Yeah,
you know, and just get people sending it in, so this way people start to build this accountability.
Yeah. All right, I'm really excited. I can't wait. So when's it gonna come out, man? Like, you're still building it, right? It's gonna be online, and you're still building it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. It'll be online. Yeah. In the process right now. Okay. You know, figuring out all the logistics. But yeah, so until then, it's like I want people just to send it to me. Yeah. Just film it on time lapse, put it on a hyperlapse, you know, whatever high speed option, send it over to me. Yeah. This way, it's like just get people moving, get people doing it. Yeah. You know, and just start to build a habit. Because in reality, it's like I don't like this membership. You know, it's gonna be paid. People are gonna pay to join this membership. They'll be a part of this community and stuff. We're gonna be doing all this stuff together. Yeah. But even if they don't join it, it doesn't matter. You know, the workouts are free. I post them on YouTube. We're about to finish editing this other version. I'm posted out there. People will just sit and they'll just watch the whole entire thing. Like that's exactly what it is. I'm not gonna make up all this other workouts. I know a lot of workouts. Yeah, yeah. But I'm not telling people you need to do all this stuff. Just do the same thing that I do every single morning, that I'm posting every single morning. Just do that. Yeah. And that's it. You want to build more chest? Just do more push-ups. You know, push-ups is one of the moves that we do. It's so simple. You know, that's it. And so I don't do anything. I don't go and bench press and all this stuff. It's like if I'm gonna build a bigger chest, then I'm just gonna do harder variations on push-ups. Yeah. You know, or do dips. You know, so I'm just getting people, like, I don't want people to go and wait. I want people to go and get started now. I don't want people to go, oh, let me wait 2 months until this program comes out so I can start. Nah, dude, start now. Yeah. You know?
Also, I think I also heard that you said that you're actually going out there and you're trying to find people who are really, you know, intuitive into like all of the mindset, and they're not marketers or anything, but they're all, you know, highly enlightened, but it's hard to reach these type of people. Is that right? And you're trying to collect all this information. Yeah, these people, like you don't see them online or anything, but they're people that's experimenting with everything that you're talking about, and you're trying to bring that message out there to the world. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. I did a lot of that over the years. Yeah, man. You know, and I still continue to all the time. Yeah. So this way, one aspect is I'm learning, and I'm connecting with these people. There's so much great information these people have, and I find that, but not all of them know how to share it with everybody. But it's so good. I just wish it can be spread out, you know, spread to the world. So this way, everybody knew so much is information. It's like people will be so empowered, you know? And so, but I do it all the time. Like here in Bali is one of those places, especially in Ubud, not just in the entire Bali. Ubud is like the place for people that are interested in consciousness, interested in healing, interested in yoga and spirituality. There are so many people out there, and I learn a lot from people. And I open my house, you know, to people to come by every morning, 7:30 a.m., Monday through Friday. Oh, love it. It's free. People just come by, you know. Yeah. And so when we just practice, and I run to all kinds of awesome people, you know, and it's just a way to build a community, and it's a way to go ahead and just share the practice with people and just have a place where we can do it together, you know. But I talked to a lot of those people. There's so much awesome stuff to share, and I've learned so much from people, you know.
Okay, so you're staying in Bali. You're going to live there permanently or anything, or like, because you know, people will be flying over.
Don't know.
Not sure yet. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm here for now. You know, this is definitely home base, but I do a little traveling. Like I'll be going to Switzerland for Christmas and New Year's. Nice. And then during that time, I'm gonna also stop by Paris to go see a friend. You know, this guy Alex. He has a YouTube channel. He's awesome. He does freaking all these. Like we vibe really good. Dude, let's go over there. We'll make some videos, train each other. He's a funny dude. So I definitely travel, but this is home base.
Yeah. Man, I love what you're doing, man. I really appreciate your time. By the way, how can people get in contact with you, by the way? We've gone way over time, man, but yeah, this is great stuff. You know,
sweet.
off, man. So yeah, yeah. How can people get in contact with you?
They can check out my videos on YouTube. The channel is just called Mike Chang. And if they want to contact me, best way right now is to go to my Instagram, Mike Chang Official, and they can just send me a DM.
Okay.
You know, and so I get a lot of DMs every day. I'm the one messaging all that stuff. So that's probably the best way to do it for now. I'm going to be launching a site soon, you know, and until then, that will be the best way.
That's awesome. Awesome, man. Look, Mike, I really appreciate your time today. It's a true honor to interview you and to finally get to meet you in person. And I'm really excited to see, you know, the next thing that you got out there as well. And I can see the aura that you've got. You know, you're definitely on another level, man. And I know that, you're going to be impacting the world once again. You did it, 10 years ago, and you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. And you're going to change lives, man. I just can't wait to see it. So, yeah, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
No worries.
Thanks.